Welcome to 10.7 standard equation of a circle. So what's important here is that you memorize what this is. So let me explain. So the x minus h squared plus the y minus k squared equals r squared gives us a lot of information where if I say something like x minus 3 squared plus, and then I change this one to y plus 4 squared equals 25, then you ought to be able to tell me a whole lot of information. Like the center of the circle is at HK. Well, how would we write that? Well, it is the opposite of the values inside the parentheses. So it'd be positive 3 and negative 4. That would be your center. And then the radius comes from the r, okay? R squared. So you have to take the square root to get the radius. Okay, let's go and do some of these. Write the standard equation. So the center is at 0, 0. So x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals the radius squared, 1, 2. 2 squared. So what do we really have? It's not really proper to leave it like this. X minus 0 is just x. Y minus 0 is just y. And 2 squared is 4. So this is the proper way of writing number 1. Number 2, what we need to do is find the center. So you draw some diameters, and there's our center. Now notice we're going by 2's, aren't we? Or by 3's. 1, 2. So they must be going by 3's for each of these spaces. So this would be, the center is at negative 3 and down 1 hash mark, which is negative 3 as well. What about our radius? Remember going by 3's. 3, 6, 9. So our radius is 9. How do we write that? X plus 3 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals r squared, which is 81. Moving on. The circle's at 0, 0. So again, we know that's x squared and y squared. And the radius is 7, so we square that. That's 49. Number 4, x minus 4 squared plus y minus 1. Notice they're the opposite signs. Don't forget your square, your 2. And the radius is 5, so we square that. That's 25. Okay, number 5. X plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 equals 1 squared is 1. 1 squared means 1 times 1. Not 1 times 2, 1 times 1. Number 6, we have x minus 3 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 11 squared is 121. All right, use the given information to write the standard equation of the circle. Same type of thing. Our center is at 0, 0, so we should be saying x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared. Well, what is the radius? This point is on the circle. So just to give you an idea, we'll draw a couple things down here. This is number 7. The center is at 0, 0. Let's use a different color. Center is at 0, 0. And a point on the circle is at 0, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to look like this. The radius is 6. So that means 6 squared is 36. Same thing in number 8, x squared plus y squared. And now 3, negative 7. So number 8, we want 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? That point's on the circle. Now the issue is, what is that distance? Now you have to use the distance formula. So the distance formula is x minus x, or 3 minus 0, plus y minus y, negative 7 minus 0. So that's 3 squared, or 9. Negative 7 squared is positive 49. So we get the square root of 58. And that is approximately 7.6. Okay, but we want to square this. So when we square it, it gives us that number, 58. So 58 goes there. Anytime you square, the square root of 58 is 7.6. So those are interchangeable. So if I square both of those, I'm going to get 58. Okay? The center is at 1, 2. So x minus 1 and y minus 2. And so now we need r squared. So let's draw, 9. Let's draw this, but the center's not at 0, 0 anymore. The center's at 1, 2. 1, 2. And a point on the circle is at 4, 2. 4, 1, 2. All right, so here is the radius. 1, 2, 3. The radius is 3, so that should be 9. Radius squared is 9. So it helps to draw these. Now, number 10, let's go ahead and draw this one. Number 10 is at negative 7, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, negative 2. That's our center. So x plus 7 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals the radius squared. So 1, negative 8 is on the circle. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got to find that distance. That's our radius. So the distance is x minus x, negative 7 minus 1, and y minus y, negative 2 minus a negative 8. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8, but when you square it, you get 64. And negative 2 minus a negative 8 minus a negative is plus 8. So negative 2 plus 8 is 6. 6 squared is 36. That gives us the square root of 100, which is 10. But when we square it, we get 100. Okay, the endpoints of a diameter of a circle are given. Write the standard equation. Okay, well, visually, let's take a look at this. It's not necessary, but we can do this. All right, 0, negative 1, and negative 5, negative 6. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so these two are on the circle. Those are diameters. So the circle looks something like this. So we need to find the radius and the center. Well, I'm not sure exactly where that center is if I drew it correctly. So to find the center, given a diameter, let's find the midpoint. So the midpoint is 0 plus negative 5 over 2 and negative 1 plus negative 6 over 2. All right, so that would be at negative 5 halves and negative 7 halves, which is not a nice, neat number, which it doesn't look like it's a neat place anyway. Okay, so that's our center. So x plus 5 halves, or 2.5 squared, plus y plus 7 halves. 7 halves is 3.5 squared. Now we need the radius. And so this is crazy. We need 2 points, or we divide the distance of the diameter into 2. We could do that, because if we use the center, which is that for those fractions, then we got fractions, and I don't want to deal with them. So let's just take half of whatever the distance of your diameter is. So again, the distance of the diameter is equal to the square root of x minus x, 0 minus a negative 5, and negative 1 minus a negative 6. Change, 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 change. So 5 squared is 25. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5. So 5 squared is 25. So we have the square root of 50. If we divide that in 2, that's our radius. Okay? But we want to square this. So our radius is this. We need radius squared. So if we square both sides, we get, when you square a square root, you get 50. What's underneath? And 2 squared is 4. 50 over 4 reduces to 25 halves. So this is 25 halves. That's your radius, or 12 and a half. The radius squared. So that should be the answer. As I check, the answer is correct, but they have it written in decimal form. X plus 2.5 squared plus y plus 3.5 squared equals 25 halves is 12.5. So that's how they actually have it in the back of the book. All right, number 12. Let's go ahead and do this one. We'll draw it up here. Negative 3, negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's your diameter. So we're doing this. You don't have to graph it. I'm just giving you the visual. So here's this circle. Okay? And it's hard to see exactly where the radius is. So let's go ahead and find the center by finding the midpoint. So negative 3 plus 5 over 2, and negative 6 plus 4 over 2. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. So 1, negative 1 is the center. That's the center of the circle. So we have x minus 1 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals, now we've got to find the radius. So again, we'll do the same thing. The distance of your diameter, x minus x plus y minus y. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Negative 8 squared is positive 64. Negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. Negative 10 squared is 100. So our diameter is the square root of 164. Okay, so that's the diameter, which we have to divide by 2 to get the radius. Okay, and then we want the r squared, so we got to square that. So that's 164 over 8, over 4. Okay, and 164 divided by 4 is 41. That's your r squared. So that's the answer. All right, find the center and radius, then graph it. So the center is at 0, 0, when there's no h or k there. And the radius squared is 49, so the radius must be the square root of that, which is 7. So it wants you to draw it. Pretty simple. Center's at 0, 0, our radius is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But do that on every place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it makes it easier to make a decent looking circle. All right, number 14, our center is at negative 5, positive 3. Our radius is 3. So let's draw this one. I'll show you how to draw easy again. Center's at negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 3. 1, 2, 3. The radius is 3, so go left and right 3 and up and down 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And then you just connect the dots. There you go. Let's keep doing it. Now you got a problem here. You have x squared minus 6x plus y squared equals 7. Well, now we have to complete the square. So completing the square is b over 2 squared. So b comes from ax squared plus bx plus c equals y. So b is the negative 6 here. So negative 6 over 2 is negative 3, but we square it, making it positive. So negative 3 squared is positive 9. Well, you just can't do that on one side of the equation. You have to add 9 to the other side. And then this factors into x minus b over 2, which is 3. You square it, plus y squared equals 16. So what is our center? Our center is at 3, 0, and the radius is 4. 3, 0, the radius is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up and down, sideways, and vertically. Okay, so that's completing the square. All right, number 16. The y's are now in a position to do completing the square. So again, half of b is 2, and we square that, and you get 4. Add 4 to both sides. Now I left it in parentheses because really it comes down to how does this trinomial factor? It's the first letter, the first operation, and whatever b over 2 is. So it's y plus 2 times y plus 2. And that equals 36. All right, so our center is at 0, negative 2, and our radius is 6. So 0, negative 2, and our radius is 6, so count up and down and left and right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just complete your circle. And there's your graph. Number 17. Okay, and on this one, our x squareds and our y squareds, they all need to have completing the square, because we're going to put this on the other side. So we have x squared minus 8x, leave space for the c, and then a plus y squared minus 2y, leave space for the c, and then this equals negative 16. Okay, so now we complete the square. So half of 8 is 4, and we're supposed to square that and add it to both sides. So 4 squared is 16. And then we have y squared minus 2y. Half of 2 is 1. We're going to square that and add that to both sides. 1 squared is 1. So really what we have on the right side is 1, because the 16s cancel out. So our correct form is going to be x, remember the first letter, the first operation, and b over 2 squared, and then this is the first letter, the first operation, and b over 2. So what is our center? Our center is at positive 4, positive 1, and our radius, the square root of 1, is just 1. So let's go ahead and graph this. 4, 1, and our radius is 1. So it'll be pretty easy to draw this circle on the right scale. You could make it bigger and go by 4s to make a 1 or something. But that's, on the graph we have, that's where it's at. All right, number 18. So we have x squared plus 4x. And then we have y squared plus 12y. And we're going to move the 15 over. And so now let's complete the squares. So half of b is 2. Square that and add it to both sides. And half of 12 is 6. We're going to square that and add it to both sides. So what do we have? We have x plus 2 squared plus y plus 6 squared equals negative 15 plus 4 is negative 11. Negative 11 plus 36 is 25. So our center is at negative 2, negative 6, and our radius is 5. Okay, so negative 2, negative 6. Radius is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just connect those. There you go. All right, prove or disprove the statement. So let me show you how to do this. The point 2, 3 lies on the circle. All right, so let's do number 19. Let's put 2, 3 up here. Let's try to make this look a little more accurate. All right, so we're at 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Lies on the circle centered at the origin. The center is at the origin, and the radius is 8. So it wants to know if this is 8 units. Okay, let's find the distance from the origin to 2, 3. So the distance here is the square root. X minus x, 2 minus 0 is 2 squared, plus y minus y, 3 minus 0 is 3 squared. So that's 4 plus 9 is the square root of 13. That would be that distance, which is not 8. All right, so we just disproved it. All right, number 20. Point, let's draw a nice graph here. 2 square root of 5. So you need to know where the square root of 5 is, which is 2.26 or something like that. Okay, so we're at 2 and then just above 2. All right, and that says it's on the circle, and the origin, circle centered at the origin, and the radius is 3. So it wants to know if this is 3 units. Okay, so let's do the distance again. Now watch what we do here. X minus x, or 0 minus 2, or we can go 2 minus 0, that's fine. 2 squared plus the square root of 5 minus 0, and we're going to square that. So 2 squared is 4. the square root of 5 squared is 5. So that's the square root of 9, which is 3. So check. Yes, it is on the circle. All right, 21. Let's do the exact same stuff. Let's do 21 right here. So let's get close. Let's just approximate. It doesn't say to graph. I'm just using the graph for you to visually see it. So the center again is at the origin. The point is at square root of 6. So square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 4 is 2. So the square root of 6 is in between 3 and 2. So on the x-axis between 2 and 3, and then we go up to 2 on the y. So that's the square root of 6, 2. And again, the center is at the origin. So the point lies on the circle center at the origin containing point 3, negative 1. Okay, so now here's how you do this. We need the equation of this circle if it is a true circle. So again, this center is at 0, so it's just x squared plus y squared. Now the radius is what? We still have to find the radius, this distance. So square root of 6 minus 0 squared plus 2 minus 0 squared. That equals the distance, which will be the radius. So the square root of 6 minus 0 is the square root of 6. And when you square it, you get 6. And 2 squared is 4, so this is the square root of 10. So remember, this is r squared in this position, so this should be 10. You square the square root of 10, you get 10. All right, now how do you know if 3, negative 1 is on it? Okay, so 3, negative 1, we plug it in. All right, so 3 squared plus negative 1 squared, and that's 9 plus 1 equals 10. So, and that's true, yes. So yes, it is on the circle. Okay, now number 22. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We need to come up with the equation of the circle. So centered at the origin, and this point supposedly lies on it. So we do the exact same thing again. So let's draw it just for visual purposes. This time I'm going to use the bigger blocks to graph this to get a better visual, okay? So the square root of 7 lies between the square root of 9 again and the square root of 4, okay? So square root of 7 is between 3 and 2. So on the x-axis between 2 and 3, and then we go up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the center. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the edge of the circle. So it wants to know if 5, 2 is on the circle. So if the circle continued, would this be on the circle? So we need the equation of the circle to plug in the new x and y. So this equation would be, again, x squared plus y squared. And we got to find the distance to get your radius. Okay, so the square root of 7 minus 0 squared plus 5 minus 0 squared. And then don't forget the square root. So we square the square root, we get 7. And 5 squared is 25. Okay, so now that's the square root of 32. That's r. So if we square that, we get 32. So that goes in this position. So now we put our new 5 and 2 into the formula, into our equation, and see if it works. So that's 25 plus 4 equals 32. No, it doesn't. Equals 29. So no, it's not in the circle, on the circle. Now I don't like them using the word containing, because that makes it feel like it's inside of it, because that point would definitely be inside the circle, but it's not on the circle. That's what they're saying. Okay, it is not on the circle. The first one is, the second one is not. Okay, modeling real life. A city's commuter system has 3 zones. Zone 1 is the smaller one there. Serves people living within 3 miles of the city's center. Okay, so that means the radius here is 3. And zone 2 serves those between 3 and 7 miles from the center. So this would be 7 miles, that radius. And zone 3 serves those more than 7 miles from the center, so more than that. All right. Graph this situation in a coordinate plane where each unit corresponds to 1 mile. Okay. Locate the city's center at the origin. Okay, so if we just drew this, we're going to use, let's go ahead and use the bigger blocks for our graphing here, okay? Sensor graphing. So the center of the city is at the origin. Then we go 3 units out. 1, 2, 3. All right, and again, that's going to be too far over there. All right, well, let's just make this a little bit smaller. All right, so now let's count 3 for everything here. And we can draw this. Okay, so what we have is this nice circle. So that's zone 1. And then we go out to 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. And 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a little harder to draw. Easier if you're using a nice little hinge. That's zone 3 or 2. And then zone 3 is on the outside of it. Okay, anything outside of that is zone 3. So zone 2 and zone 1. Determine which zone serves people whose homes are represented by the points 3, 4. Okay, so these are all different questions here. So 3, 4, what zone is 3, 4 in? 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 3, 4. That's zone 2. All right, let's put the zone up here. We'll make a little graph. So that'd be 2. And the next one is 6, 5. So there's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 5 is there, so that's zone 3. And then we have 1, 2. 1, 2 is right here. So that's zone 1. And then 0, 3. That would be zone 1 because you're on it. Within meaning on as well, not necessarily inside of it. And then 1, 6 is going to be right here. And that is zone 2. All right. Now, this is just a little extra one here. Match the graph with what we have. So let's just look at A. Where's the center? The center is at negative 3, 0, which would be x squared, or excuse me, x plus 3 squared. And that would be plus y squared because the other value is 0. So which one has that? X plus 3 squared plus y squared. And then what's your radius? Your radius is 2, so radius squared would be 4. So this would be C. Okay, that one's done. Now B, again, has a radius of 2, so that's going to be 4. These are all 4s for r squared, so that's not going to help you. So now what's the center? 0, which gives us the x squared. And we're at 1, 2, 3, so that'd be y minus 3. All right, so x squared and y minus 3. All right, so that'd be D. This is D. This one, the center is at 3, 0, so x minus 3, so that'd be B. And then the last one is at 0, negative 3, so that's x squared and then y plus 3. So that's A. There we go. Good job. Here are the answers. We don't have 23 on here, but or 26, but I answered them for you.